Just found out that my husband and like the man that I've been with like since high school let me know that like he's gay and that he's been gay and like
Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you are very welcome. My name is Frida Tate with a brand new video. In today's video, we are exploring the powerful stories of women who found themselves in marriages where love and truth collided. But first, grab your favorite drink. Let's explore real stories of women who have gone through this painful experience and how it has affected their lives.
I know a lot of people have been like messaging me asking me what's going on, why I'm moving out. And it's because like I just found out that my husband and like the man that I've been with like since high school for like 12 years, like we have two kids together, and he just like let me know that like he's gay and that he's been gay and like he's been trying to fake it, but he just can't anymore. I'm feeling so many things. I'm confused, I'm angry, I'm sad, but I'm also happy that like he I'm happy that he could like finally live his life and that he doesn't have to like hide himself anymore, but I don't know, I'm just feeling so many things. Anyways, I just want to thank everyone for their kind messages and words of like affirmation, just because it has really helped me get through, because like I've been with him since I was in high school, and so it's just like a lot, especially with two kids and like having to move out your whole life, like a whole life that you thought that you were gonna have, that it's gone now. And it's also hard because it's like no one really understands, because no one has been through this situation, like no one that I know has been through this situation, and so it's just really hard. I just love him, and he keeps telling me how much he loves me and our kids, and like he never wanted to have to like leave, but that he just can't like pretend anymore. And I just want to be like supportive and just let him know that he has me like still on his side, and that I love him still, but it's just hard at the same time, because like I spent the last 12 years with him building this life. It's like just crazy that like your whole life can just change in like a day. The nights are like just so lonely, and I have like the two kids to take care of, and it's like I just miss him and I miss our family so much.
How I found out my ex-husband was gay. Okay, so in 2019, I was about to go on a trip for work. I was married still, and I was like, at this point, like, knew I needed to come up with like an escape plan. So I was working on that. I was trying to build a career so I'd have money to leave, and like that way I could have something to fall back on, because I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, just starting to build my career, and I had to go out of town. So I was going to be gone for 5 days, and so I tried to plan for my mom to be able to watch the kids, and it's like I had to like come up with a reason of why my mom needed to watch them. There was like 2 nights that they were gonna be at home, and he was gonna be watching them. So my mom was gonna mostly be watching them. They were just gonna have to sleep there because they had school the next day. So she would get them after school, and then she would go and like until they were to bed. I just didn't feel safe with him watching them. I know that's dad, that's their dad, but I just didn't trust him. He was just not right. And so I bought recording devices and video devices to record everything, so in case something happened. I was still pretty new to like standing up for myself and like realizing that something was really wrong, but I just knew something was off, so I hid recording devices everywhere. And when I got back from the trip, I came back a day early from my trip. My kids were just really upset. They just really wanted to go home. I talked to them. My daughter was 8 at the time. My son was 5, just to kind of see if anything had happened. Because like at this point I was still pretty new to realizing like what narcissistic abuse was and like how awful he actually was. And so they didn't seem like anything like concerning really happened. So just that they were really happy that I was home and really didn't want to be alone with him. If you've ever been with an abusive or narcissistic person, you know that once you start catching on to them, that's when they become their best. So it really confuses you, and then you start to think you're crazy. So I didn't even listen to any of the recordings, like nothing. I just was like, okay, well, nothing happened. Like, I was just being paranoid, even though, like, my kids obviously didn't want to be alone with him, and I just should have listened to my gut. But anyways, I ended up a couple months or weeks later. I can't remember the exact timeline because everything is such a blur. But we ended up getting in a really bad fight, and that was when I was just like, I'm done. Like, get out, like, leave, you're out of here. He went and stayed with his best friend, right? And I was like, okay, bye. Oh, I forgot to tell about this part. So my kids were only with him at home for the last few days of my trip, the last 2 days of my trip, which I ended up coming home early anyways. I had found out that my mom told me when she went and dropped the kids there that his best friend was there, and I was like, that's odd. And so I had like asked him about it. He had, okay, when his wife was out of town, he didn't have to watch his kids. He had his best friend come stay at the house with him the whole time I was gone. Fucking weird, right? Same friend that he went to go stay with when we split up. So then I remembered after he moved out that I had those tapes that I never listened to, so I thought, I'm gonna take a listen. For legal purposes, I can't share a lot of the things I found out, and there's actually still quite a bit of tape that I haven't listened to, and honestly, at this point, I probably never will, but, you know, always have it just in case I need it. Found out about his whole little 5-year plan that he had to leave me with nothing and take the kids and all this really fun stuff. That I will say there was quite a few recordings that I had found that talked about Preparation H and booty house hurting. You tell me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. By the way, this is lip stain. It's coming off. But more backstory. This is also the same friend that he invited on Valentine's Day dinners with us. That came on our family vacations with us. Same friend that he moved in with when we split up right away.
So he was actually incredibly homophobic. So if we were out and about, he would mutter under his breath whenever he saw anybody that appeared to be gay. He did everything he could to make himself as macho and outwardly masculine as he could. So he was a bodybuilder. He wouldn't wear anything that was a feminine colour like pink or purple. He would belittle our children when we later went on to have children, and in fact, I found this out about him when my child was about 4 months old. But as they grew up, he would belittle the males by saying, you know, even when they were crying at like 3 or 4 years old, he'd be like, stop crying like a little girl and stuff like that. So actually, he rejected his homosexuality or bisexuality or whatever you want to call it. He couldn't accept it at all. He kept it a massive secret, obviously, from everybody, including me. And then after I did find out about it, he kind of implied that by me finding out what he'd been doing, that had healed him and he no longer had those desires, which obviously isn't possible. In this process of finding out what he had done, which I happened across by accident on the computer when autofill filled in an old email address that he had stopped using before we had got married and before we got this certain computer, so I knew something wasn't right, that he would still been using this old email address. And I basically bluffed him into telling me the truth. I said that I'd found loads of stuff on the computer. I rang him at work and I was like, you better tell me everything now, otherwise it's over. So the issue was, he did tell me a lot of the truth to begin with, but it came out in dribs and drabs. So it meant that at the point where I was like, oh, you know, maybe I can trust him again, maybe I can make this work. I was 18, I had a 4-month-old baby. He'd already isolated me from all my friends and family, so I didn't have any sense of what is normal and what is true. I also had no identity myself because of all my own issues from childhood and teenage years. He had become my world, and therefore it was very scary to me at the thought of giving that up. So in finding this all out, it's where my eyes were open to how massive this issue is. You know, men that are married with children, grandfathers having these secret homosexual lives. It is everywhere. And some of my gay clients openly talk about how much they end up finding out that the people that they get with on these dating apps are actually married with kids and so-called straight.
About 2 years into our marriage, me and my ex-husband, we were not doing well. It was toxic. One day I needed to use a laptop, but mine was broke, and a lot of times he would let me use his. He wasn't home on this specific day. I go to open his laptop and his email is open. I guess he must have forgot and not realized and just shut it down, but normally he would close his apps out. I go in the email and I see that there are these emails with a strange subject from Craigslist. Something I had to read and open because I was like, oh no, who is he sending messages to? I click on it and it is messages where he's responding back and forth to a man from Craigslist that my ex had reached out to. This man is openly gay, and the man was asking my ex-husband, have you ever been with a man before? Have you ever tried these things before? My ex responds back with, no, but I've always been curious about it.
Discovering that your husband has been living a secret gay life can be emotionally shattering experience. You may feel betrayed, confused, hurt, and uncertain about what to do next. While every situation is unique, here are some steps to help you to navigate the unexpected reality and move forward with clarity and strength. Number 1, acknowledge your feelings. It's natural to feel a whirlwind of emotions, shock, then anger, sadness, and betrayal, and even relief. Certain things make sense. Give yourself permission to grieve the relationship you thought you had. Suppressing emotions will only delay healing. What can you do? Journal your thoughts and feelings. Talk to trusted friends and family members. Consider seeing a therapist to help process your emotions. Number 2, confront the truth with him. Once you have gathered your thoughts, have a direct but calm conversation with your husband. Ask for honesty about his feelings, his choices, and what led him to keep this secret from you. Now, his answers may not erase the pain that you may be going through, but they will help you understand the situation better. When did he realize he was attracted to men? Why did he choose to hide? Does he still love you? And in what way does he want moving forward? Number 3, decide what you want. Now that you know the truth, focus on yourself. Your future depends on you at what you want. Seek support from professional help. You don't have to go through this alone. Support groups like therapy, even legal advice can help navigate this transition. Here are some helpful resources. Therapy, individual or couples counseling can help bring clarity. There's some support groups, organizations like Straight Spouse Network offer support to those in similar situations. Let's talk about legal advice. If divorce is an option, understanding your rights and options is crucial. Number 5, rebuild your life and self-esteem. This revelation does not define you, nor does it make your marriage a failure. It's a reflection of hidden truth, and that has come to light. Focus on rediscovering yourself and build a life that makes you happy. Ways to rebuild. Pursue hobbies and passion you may have set aside. Establish a support system of friends and loved ones. Practice self-care, exercise, meditate, travel, or doing something that brings you joy. Final thoughts. Finding out your husband has been living a secret gay life is painful. It does not mean your life is over. While it's a betrayal, it's also an opportunity for you to live authentically. The most important thing is to focus on healing, making choices that serve your well-being, and moving forward with confidence. Your happiness and peace of mind are worth fighting for. No matter how difficult this feels right now, you will come out stronger.